Welcome back to Chessometrics. We will look now at the sixth round at the German Youth Under 25 Open. I had the black pieces and we got the Caro-Kann and we had a very interesting middle game. So we can see what critical moments happened and I will just try to guide you through. So we will skip the opening. It was an exchange Caro-Kann variation, and then this very moment he played the move bishop to g5, after which I was kind of thinking for a long time because I felt that now at least we get some ideas going with black, and after some time I started to be quite optimistic. I played the move knight h5. Still, of course, the position is objectively equal, but knight h5, the idea is, of course, maybe to get the bishop with knight f4 and h6 ideas. h6, bishop h4, and g5 will already win a pawn because the queen is guarding the g3 square, so that would have been nice. But he played, of course, the move queen e3 to stop knight f4. Now I played the move rook e8 with the idea of playing f6, protecting the e-pawn with the rook first, and then after f6, once again after bishop h4, I probably win a pawn with g5, and his sacrifice on g5 should not work out. So he played now, I provoked him to play the move g4, and now he has the weaknesses. And I think in an endgame, this g4 is very strong against this structure because I cannot move my pawns without weakening. But in the middle game, with so many pieces, his king might start to feel weak, and this is actually what could have happened. I could have exploited his weak king, as we shall see. Bishop f4, queen b6, tempo on the b pawn, which is actually relevant, so he played b1, rook b1, and after h5 now, very nice move, very strategic idea, undermining the structure. So for example, if he were to take, he will just be worse because of the weak king and also the weak structure. And after g5, which is probably a terrible move, I would get the f5 square. So he played knight h2, but it is very passive. I just activated my last piece, rook h8, knight f3, hd4, knight e4. The drawback of knight f3 is that now I have the e4 square, and now he tries to trade that knight. I'm happily taking. And here this was probably the most critical moment of the game for my part, because I had to choose a path. Should I play f6, g5? Should I play f6, e5? Should I play e5 immediately? Or, as I did in the game, should I play queen e6, threatening the a-pawn? And also I had anticipated that this queen could later go to one of these two squares to attack this weakness on g4, as we will see. So he played the move knight f3. And here I had a lot of lines that I was calculating, and it was like f6, bishop h6, then you could go for g6 takes with a solid structure, but I wasn't sure about the sacrifice as well, so I did not want that one. I also considered something like rook c7, and also, of course, I considered something like e5, but then after takes g5, it is very, very tough after queen g5, king f7 or king g7. I wasn't sure how to evaluate this. Probably white is a bit better, because also all of these attacks I saw till here. Queen is protecting, knight is protecting this knight f5 check, and probably it's okay for black, but I did not want that. And then I was thinking also about playing queen takes a2, just to see like why he's giving the pawn. But I think after bishop h6 I might soon regret that I took the pawn, because after takes, he gets control over the dark squares, queen f4, g5, queen f6, knight a5, and so on, and also king g2, rook h1. So yeah, I did not like that at all. And then I ended up playing probably the best move, which is very, very logical, e5. Dynamic move. Of course, the queen is directed to the rook, so it makes a lot of sense to open the center now. His king is also weakened, so it is very, very logical. So, and after d takes e5, now I'm just clearly better, and I should just realize that, and it's a bit sad, I should have realized that knight e5 is just very, very strong. I saw that after takes queen f4, rook c4 wins, very nice resource, and he's just overloaded. And after queen d2, probably here also something is very strong for black, something like queen a4 or queen c4, attacking the pawn on g4 might be very nice. But I don't know why I did not play this. Looks very logical, but I was too distracted with the move f6. Sometimes I like dynamic chess too much, and just using this idea of f6 is very nice. It's still equal, of course. Black is still pushing a bit, because dynamically he is under a lot of pressure, but probably it's only connected with the fact that I should have seen the move queen c4, and I saw it, and it's a very crazy line. Bishop takes g7, queen g4, and here king h1 is the best move, but I was considering king f1, a bit more logical not to get mated on the h-file. And what I originally missed was, I saw that after king g7, this is what I was calculating, and he has no checks, and I threatened both his pieces. So this is important. So after queen d3, for example, I think I calculated something like queen h3, king g1, rook h8, and he still has remarkably still has no good check, and probably I just have a mating attack. So this was very, very interesting to calculate for me. But after king takes g7, take on f6, king f6, he has queen e8, takes, and I cannot take the knight because of rook f8 check. Amazing. And also after king f7, he luckily has this move knight e5, and after takes, I have no check to win the rooks, and probably I should just make a perpetual check. So it's quite insane lines, and that's why I disregarded this. But I missed that after knight takes e5, bishop takes f6. Of course, I can just take on f3, and this looks rather dangerous for white. So I should have went for queen c4. In the end, I ended up playing knight e5 now, and the big difference now is that he has to move g5. I don't have time for something like rook c4 or queen c4, which would have been very nice if black were to move, but after g5 he undermines my structure. I go knight f7, queen d4, and here I should probably just make a draw with a really nice resource, I think. I'm not sure what it was. Let's take a look. It's quite nice. Yes, knight takes g5, amazing resource. So after a knight g5, rook c4, and after takes, I have rook e1, and check. King h2 and take on g5. And this is somehow a draw, even though it looks still scary for both kings, I have to say. So yeah. And instead I played rook e4, which gives him winning chances. And I completely hallucinated. I thought now that I still have rook c4, because the pawn was on d5 here in this line. So I was completely hallucinating. Very, very typical sometimes that two pieces are protecting the c4 square. So you think that later the rook can go there. And here rook c4 would at least give probably good chances. He has to block, and then I have some checks. Also, I have some knight g5 ideas with some forks later maybe. So yeah, this would have been nice, of course, but rook c4 of course not happening. And after rook g8, after king g8, I'm just lost. If he finds the move knight e5 was strong, and if he finds the move knight g4, I can basically resign, because he's just threatening everywhere to checkmate me. But instead he took, also traded the rooks, goes to this queen endgame, which probably is practically winning. Objectively maybe horrible, but practically I think it's winning. And for some reason he just offered me a draw, and of course I did not wait for a second to accept the draw. So yeah, that was a funny dynamic game with very interesting lines in the middle with e5 and all of these central breaks, and both kings being weak. So I hope and you enjoyed this, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and as usual, don't forget, success through chess. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.